We're going to go ahead and get started. First up, we have quarterback coach Tyler Allen. Coach, or questions for Coach Allen, Greg?
So Tyler, start with just basic stuff. Start with your breakdown and what you see from the quarterback so far.
We've improved a lot over the span of this fall camp. Really a lot of improvement. Really just connection with the receivers. I think just a lot of improvement all around. Different things we've been working on with the guys.
So besides connection with the receivers, give us a couple of things that you think they've improved on.
Yeah, so Garrett, he's really one thing we really are focusing on this summer is touch. And we really drilled it a lot, and it's really shown up in the span of the last 13, 14 practices we've had. Really good touch when he's on the move too, outside the pocket. He's really improved on that. Nico's really improved with throwing with people around him. Last year he was taking some sacks last year when there was pressure around him or just presence around him, and he's really improved on that. And then the other two guys, Ryder and Khalil, really just a lot of improvement just from just getting here. A lot of different things, just learning the system, and then some fundamental stuff with those guys. But they're doing a good job as well.
Break down those two a little bit more. Ryder, strengths, and what are you still trying to get improvement from him?
Yeah, so Ryder's been he's been an improvement to the room, that's for sure. So he came in, he's a really smart kid. He probably learned the whole offense in 2 weeks, which is really hard to do. He's a really smart kid, and really he's up here all the time, and he's got really good ball, just arm talent. He's got really good arm talent. So I think that he's a guy that can improve through his career here and have a chance later down the road. And Khalil's got a lot of talent. It's a long process. It's going to be a long process for him because he's never had to do anything like this before. Coming from high school, there's a lot of different things that we do, and it's a huge transition for him. But he's got a lot of talent, and he shows that in practice. In the last 3 days, he's made some really good throws. He can run the ball, so we're excited about him in the future.
Been a lot of attention about improving the completion percentage in the passing game and what Garrett can do to help that. But how much are the other things, like the receivers that you talked about? How much is the protection, creating throwing lanes? How much does all that go into it? And you're seeing improvement there too?
Yeah, no doubt. So, from originally in January when we sat down, we really watched all the throws from last year. There was a ton of things that we needed improved on him to make his completion percentage better. And, I went back 2 days ago and looked at his numbers from fall camp last year and fall camp this year. I'm not going to get into the exact numbers, but it's a significant improvement in completion percentage. Now, hopefully that transitions in 2 weeks from now, but so a lot of that was his footwork and touch and some mechanical issues where he was falling off that we got him grounded now. So that's with him. And protection and being on the same page with the receivers is also another thing too. And the one thing though, we want him to go play free. So if he can't see or if it's not there, we want him to go play, and that's where a lot of his big plays come on scrambles and stuff a lot of times.
Receivers, you mentioned the timing, obviously, but is it presenting themselves, making catches, other little technique things that play into that?
I think just being with those guys and routes on there, and then really when we go one-on-ones and throwing with those guys when they have a DB on them, and just the timing of how that can change. Like today we did a lot of that where it was press man and one-on-ones where we were throwing routes in that, because it can change the timing a little bit. So I think that's been a big improvement too. We made some really good throws today doing that.
Coach, going back to Nico a little bit, Chad said that Nico obviously had to play last year when Green got hurt. If that would happen again, hypothetically, wouldn't have to change the playbook that much where it was changed last year.
Yeah,
why?
I fully trust Nico. He in the last 12 months he is a completely changed quarterback, mentally, physically throwing the ball. It's huge mentally. I fully trust him if he had to go in and play. And I tell him that, and he knows the 2 games that he played last year were not good enough, and that he didn't play very well, and he knows that, and he's a completely different quarterback now. And if we were to get into a situation where he needed to play, fully trust him with the offense, and there shouldn't be any changes.
How much does the availability of Ryder free up what you guys can call with Nico? Because last year it had to guard him a little bit.
That was a huge reason why we went and got Ryder, and we feel really good about if there was a situation where Garrett can play for a play or something and Nico had to go in, there would be no change in the offense. That we could run it completely how we should with Nico in the game, and there should be no changes and nothing held back because we feel that, if Ryder had to play, that we could function the offense as well. And he's shown that over the span of fall camp, and so we feel good. We feel good about where the room is right now. We really do, and that's why we had to go get him.
Tyler, you have a quarterback who, I don't want to say takes risks, but is always in peril when he's running the ball. How do you handle him approaching that?
Yeah, so you gotta be careful because you don't want to take that away from him because that's what makes him a great player, his ability to play free and stuff. So you don't want to take that away from him. But at the same time, you have to teach him when to take risk and when not to take risk. Of when can you just run out of bounds or slide, or when you need to really go get the first down or go really score a touchdown and take a chance. So there's situations that we watch and we talk through, but I definitely don't want to take away his ability to go play free and make plays that you can't coach.
Is he calmed down to the point now in his career that he can actually recognize those?
Yes, he can. Yeah, that's one big improvement he's made. He's more level-headed now, and we try to say all the time, like, we want to play with emotion, not emotional, and he's come a long way, and he's way more level-headed and controlled, and he can make those decisions at a faster rate, and he's done really well with that.
Tyler, you guys do just a ton of throwing in practice, it looks like, but just notice that like the running backs are involved in all that stuff, and I figured they have a spot, but it didn't seem like that was something you guys did very well or very often last year, trying to get the ball to CJ or Jaheim. But when it hit, it was pretty good. Is that just a hard part of the offense to initiate?
No, it's not. If you look at Josh's stats from last year, he had like 4 catches and 3 of them were like huge touchdowns. A 75-yard one versus Cincinnati, the big one at Baylor to end the game. And a lot of that had to do with Josh was really young. We had to bring him along, and then towards the end of the year, he got more involved in the pass game. And CJ's really good at catching the ball too, as he started as a tight end. And they are a piece of the offense that we do want. That is something that we've emphasized, trying to get them the ball more in the pass game. But I think what our plan in place with our offense is that is a piece of it, and it might not have shown much last year, but it's something that both those guys can do, and something that we'll continue to work on and having that game plan.
As a former quarterback, as a coach, how do you coach that throw? Because it's so different. Coming out of the backfield into a flat versus something vertical down the field to a guy who's bigger. You have better reps with, I'm guessing,
no
too.
doubt. So yeah, we talk about it all the time, and we work it in individual drills, and we work at throwing with touch and not throwing too far in front of them. They're not receivers, and more putting it on the running backs. You don't want to lead them too far down the field. You want to put it on them. So it's something that we work and we watch and we talk through it, and then we work it with those running backs every day. They're in routes on air just like the receivers are, and if there's a play for them that day or if they're in the progression, they're there at routes on air, so we're throwing it to them.
Tyler, the unusual aspect of Garrett is, I know you want to improve his completion percentage, but he had a very low interception percentage and was really good on deep balls. Those seem to conflict. Do they?
Yeah.
Is it just unusual for him, or explain that if you could?
No, last year he really only had 4 interceptions last year, and that's pretty good for a power 4 quarterback. That's very little, and we want to continue to do that. And in practice, we let him take chances and see what he can and can't do, and I think that's part of it too. In practice, you let him take chances and see what throws he can make and what throws he can't make. And then in the game, we really tone that back. Where now you know which ones you can make, now you don't. So let's make the ones you can. And the deep ball game is something we've continued to improve, and he's gotten way better at than last year. Everyone talks about how good he was last year, but he also missed a lot, and he knows that, and we feel like we've really improved that. So we hope those numbers go up as well, which will also help the completion percentage numbers go up too.
Coach, even though kind of a new role for you, you've obviously been around Green in the program a while. How has coaching him this year been different than in the past, and kind of off of some of the coaches have talked about that they don't have to do the 101 class this year because these are more experienced players? Has that allowed you to go to a different level of coaching?
No doubt. I think the biggest difference is, from previous years, is I was still really involved. It's more just of like me and Reagan sometimes had different opinions on a few things, and it was his way. And now it's everything that I want to do, and is what we're doing now. And it's not a huge change from anything, but yeah, he's. So what was the second part of the question?
In terms of Green too, just because he had a year as a starter under his belt, so I'm assuming that maybe there are some things you wouldn't have to worry about teaching him that maybe somebody who hadn't been around.
For sure.
you'd
So
have
we're
to
able to
teach.
get on to more like situational type football and more in-depth protection stuff with him. It's way different than having a guy who just first got here where, now it's more of like, hey, let's watch 2-minute situations. Okay, when this happens, or you have one timeout, you're on this part of the field, and now we have a 2-minute warning, like going through deep, like in-depth situational talk and then protection talk, so we can get into more of that type stuff.
Tyler, I think this would have been the year before you got here, but Jarrett Dagey had a really low interception percentage too. Is that baked into this offense? I mean, is that just you present them with easy throws, or is it just kind of who
I
those two
wouldn't
guys?
say that. I wouldn't say that. I don't even know what Daggy had when he was here. I was here for his first year when he redshirted, but after that, I'm not sure what he had. But no, that's to answer your question. No, that's not just baked in the offense. We take downfield throws, and those can be risky, and so it's definitely not.
You guys worked actual sort of game time scenarios where you're in the press box having to get on the phone with Garrett and using the helmet communication and all that. Is that different for you from in the past, and is that different for the quarterbacks?
No, it's really the same. So we've worked it twice now, and so right after the drive, you'll see Garrett come to the sideline. I'll be in the box, so he'll come to the phone, and really moving forward, we're supposed to have it tomorrow in our scrimmage. Hopefully, is the iPads, and that'll be a deal where he's on the sideline with an iPad, on the phone with me with an iPad up top, so we can really, and I can send stuff down to him, and we can talk through stuff. So. That'll be different from the past, but I'm excited about it. It's going to make things, I think, way better for us. And he'll be able to really see it live, too.
Video, or is it snapshots like you see in the
It's
NFL?
different
You
from
got
the NFL. We actually have live video. We have
so
live
you
video.
can go through a whole snap and see how coverage progresses and everything.
That's correct.
And how have you seen him just kind of grasp that? Like, is that different, I'm assuming, than kind of watching film when you're in
So we
the
haven't
classroom
had
setting?
the ability to use it yet. The Big 12 just sent it to us, so I think all the schools just got them. So we'll be able to use it tomorrow, I think.
Have you talked to Coach Brown about the helmet communication? Because I imagine you could overload a guy. I mean, do you call
Yeah,
just a
so-
play, or do you say, watch the
Yeah,
mic?
you got to be
watch
careful.
this?
You have to be careful with it. Me and Coach Brown have talked a lot about it, and you don't want to, like, they have been taught and coached to play and do certain things, and if you don't want to clutter their mind, so you tell them to play. Maybe there's a reminder, but you're not sitting there telling them, hey, this is the progression, or this is your like he knows it, and we want him to go play. And so you have to be careful with that. So there won't be much of that.
Red zone wise, how have you tried to work on red zone success? Because that was something that was a big theme. It wasn't good enough last year. Trying to improve it this year.
Yeah, it's been
Where's
a big,
that?
Yeah, it's been a big deal for us this year through fall camp, and we spent a lot of time in the red zone in fall camp and improving that, and then our individual drills will work a lot of that in the red zone too, where we're throwing over nets where there's a lot of people, so we'll throw over nets and the bucket net stuff, or we can work on our touchdown there and different things, and I think we've really improved in the red zone. So hopefully it shows.
And more red zone weapons
No
on the
doubt,
roster
yeah.
now.
No doubt. Well, we've got some good receivers down there, and we got good running backs too, and they help down there. And Cole Taylor's a big target, so we're excited. You know, we feel like we've got a lot of people to really get the ball to.
A couple weeks ago said that the scouting report against the offense last year was to man up, go zero against you guys, and make Garrett win in the passing game. Eventually, quarterbacks, when they get good enough, they kind of embrace that. They want to see the blitz, the man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you see that from Garrett? And I'm assuming you guys are working that a lot.
Oh yeah, if people want to go zero against us, come on, come on. He's ready for it. You know, he can make every throw, and you better tackle him, because if you don't, he's going for a long ways.
Quarterbacks, some of the walk-ons. Mention, what you're seeing out of some of those guys.
Yeah, so Scotty Keene, he's been here for a few years now, and right now he'd probably be next up, and then Jackson Chris, his dad's a coach, so really trying to, bring him along, just in the middle side of the game. He can help on the sideline some. And then Abe Fenwick, he just got here, so we're really just trying to just get him to learn the offense right now and bring him along. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the room.
Okay, anything else for Coach? Okay, thank you very much.